Hey, so to introduce me again to today's episode of the European Herpetoculture Podcast.
And it's fucking New Year. Welcome, lovely listeners, to this little special surprise episode.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
We are
Oh,
out here to wish you all a happy New Year, and we thought maybe you would like to hear some of our thoughts about the past year and our plans for next year. So yeah, guys, here we are,
allez, allez,
right with
allez.
my bros Ben and Flo. How are you guys?
Excellent. Thank you too.
Thank
I'm
you.
phenomenal.
Wow.
Let's
Ah,
go. Let's do it.
Crazy.
hype for the
Nice.
episode.
Great to see you. Yeah, so everybody, we hope you had some nice Christmas days and yeah, grab yourself a nice warm drink, lean back and enjoy the episode. We also would like to hear how your year was, but more to that later. So,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
aha,
Okay.
what are we doing today, I
Just a
think?
little episode to feel good, huh?
Yes, something nice, something to yeah, look back. I think that's it. A brief introduction, or did I forget something, guys?
No, no, it's
No.
just
Nice.
gonna be a super chill episode, a little bonus for all the supporters out there for you to see how we did over the year. If we
Yeah.
suffered, if we succeeded.
And
Also,
we
we
will
can
do a
take a
little
look at the
Q&A.
numbers.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
true, yeah.
Hmm
good
Interesting.
idea. But before we do that, so tell me what comes to your mind when you think of 2025, 24, sorry. I'm
Um,
already in the next year.
In
Maybe
terms
Flo,
of
you want to start?
herpetoculture.
Yeah, in terms of herpetoculture or your own projects or the hobby in general, just one quick thought, everybody.
just one sentence or like a quick thing. Because my
Just a
journey
quick
was,
thing.
for me, it was a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Tell me about the
Nice.
highs and lows to Flo.
Nah, like the highs were definitely starting this podcast with you guys.
Okay.
Um, then also then came the low with debuilding the greenhouse and stop keeping animals. But then came the high again with like moving to a fucking beautiful city and now getting
hmm
back into the reptiles. So it
hmm
was quite a lot. But end of the year, it's always good to reflect in
Do
general.
you feel
It's like,
happy?
yeah, I feel very happy. I feel like wiser.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect, man. I like to hear that.
Nice.
You're
What
Ben.
about
growing
you?
up.
Yeah.
Um, Today, this year's topic that I would give is maybe something related to conservation based keeping because I got to know about the project Citizen Conservation, or maybe I even knew about it last year already, but this year I really connected with some people who are involved and taught me about what is really going on there. And also, I mean, there are also similar projects that care about kind of combining the goods that we can deliver with captive keeping, but also in situ conservation work. And I'm really inspired by that. I don't know, it's kind of new to me. So far, I've seen the hobby mostly as something that is centered around me and my own I don't know, pleasures, but it kind of opened up a new facet for me to see that there are also people doing work in the field, and basically it had to do with some contacts that I made this year, I feel like. And I would like to point out, for example, Ryan, the guy from the homie from Switzerland. And so, I mean, we got to know each other last year already, but this year we've been to a trip in Switzerland, for example, been out there hiking in the mountains, and that was just such a inspiring experience to really feel the climate conditions around you and everything, and that yeah, kind of um, I don't know, gave me a lot of inspiration for the stuff that I'm doing here at home at my place, and yeah, still working on my stuff every day, making progress, and it's getting better. So I'm pretty hyped about what's about to come. Yeah,
Nice.
that's it.
Nice.
What's for you, Till? How would you
Ah,
describe it?
I I didn't do any crazy vacations or herpetological trips or something, but I think I found a new home, let's call it like this. I already moved
Mm.
to a new place the year before in October, but it was very stressful and spontaneous and yeah, but this was my first whole year like living in Düsseldorf and yeah, I'm really feeling at home. So I didn't do, yeah, so I settled in after a very big change, I would say. And I don't think I got any new animals. One of my animals unfortunately died this year, the Elaphia carinata female. That was definitely a low. Um, yeah, so, but yeah, I'm thinking, did I get a new animal? No. Not this year.
Mhm.
So
I
I'm
would
taking
assume.
care of the Enyaloides. So that's kind of new animals,
Yeah.
but just temporary. And yeah, really enjoying that,
How do you like
settling
them?
in. I I enjoy them, but they could move a little more, I think. But they are really beautiful, beautiful animals.
Do you
Um,
sometimes take time to observe them, or after a while, they are not really that much interesting anymore to look at for you?
I try to take my time, but with all the animals, but recently. There was a lot going on in my life, so, like being busy. So I wish I could take more time for my hobby, but I'm happy that I settled in here. And yeah, this year my herpetological experience was more around the people because I feel like this year I also got to know a lot of very cool people. Um, and I'm very happy that we started this podcast together and also together with Stefan. Shout out.
Hmm.
And yeah, this I think this brought in a very interesting twist on our friendship and what we are doing together. So I'm very happy and thankful for that. Yeah,
Yeah,
Nice.
for sure.
that's
Yeah.
nice.
So
Definitely.
overall, a nice year for everybody.
I would say so.
Nice. That's important. Yeah, it's like it's flew by so fast. It's crazy when you think about it. Like this, and a year is over, and then when you recap it, so many things happened.
How many years do we have left? What do you think?
In the hobby or in general?
In general,
Yeah.
overall. I mean, at the end of the day, isn't it kind of the same? Are you planning to stop anytime soon?
No.
I see you growing plants until your last day too.
Yeah, that's maybe also something in this year, like this plant obsession and plant focus that I had already over the last years
Mm.
kindly grow stronger. So I think it's, yeah, the biggest part. I also still love the
Mhm.
keeping animals, but I like to keep that low. So I don't know if I said that on the podcast already, but I definitely told you guys I'm not diving further into like mid-sized or bigger colubrids like I had planned to do before, more focusing on having just a few animals and a lot of plants.
Which
Mm.
Yeah.
plant specifically?
I kind of this year was my Platycerium year, I think, so the Stackhorn ferns. But I really do like a lot of plants, so I wouldn't just focus on one thing. I would like to dive more into the ant plants. Haven't been so
Mm-hmm,
successful with
mm-hmm.
these. I have some, but yeah, it's
What is difficult
it's
about
hard.
them? Is it that they grow so slowly,
Yeah,
or the uptake of nutrients, or what is it?
I think they grow slowly, and I lost some of them during the warm days. So I am
Mm-hmm,
afraid I need something to cool them down a little bit,
mm-hmm.
and that makes it difficult. Yeah, but I have some in one of my grow boxes that I'm growing from seeds from berries that I got, and they look
Okay.
pretty good. So maybe it's easier when you grow them from the beginning than just
Mm-hmm.
when you get them and plant them
So
somewhere.
they can kind of adjust to these
Yeah.
Yeah.
rooftop temperatures.
Yeah. Up here it's hot. Yeah. So yeah, that's also a big part of this year, like the plant aspect for
Yeah.
me.
That's nice. Do you think they give you more joy in some kind of way than the reptiles, the plants, because you can have bigger diversity and or is it like something different, just like to have a side hobby from your hobby?
Uh, Yeah, maybe it's becoming the main part,
Mm.
but it's also very connected because I also like to get plants for my enclosures and stuff, or have planted enclosures. Um, yeah, but the aspect of focusing is kind of different because you can stack up mu much more plants. You
Yeah.
can fulfill this like collector's urge and also integrate it into your living space on a different kind of way than animals.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I feel like every guest we had on this podcast said it before, like narrowing down, focusing on less. And I really do enjoy keeping less animals because then I have the feeling that I can give them more, that I can give them more attention, more time, more resources.
Would you call it herpetological minimalism?
Maybe. But with the kind of the enclosures, I like herpetological maximalism. A lot of
Okay, okay.
space,
Yeah.
Yeah.
extravagant
You
plants,
need
a
to
lot
find
of
a good
diverse
balance.
stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you
That's
need
it.
to, yeah, maybe you need to figure out what is it that brings joy to you, and that's what you need to embrace. And what
Yeah,
is it that puts stress on you? Because there's always stuff like that, even in your hobby. And
yeah,
you have to try to eliminate that, even if it takes work.
yeah,
And for example, one big thing that I'm always involved with it is automation. And
yeah.
that's where I would like to ask the question, how does, if you to, for example, had to compare pure plant to pure animal keeping, how does it differ from each other in terms of the involvement you need to, I don't know, give to the setups? So if you compare just keeping plants or just keeping animals, what takes more of your attention and time in terms of the reward that you get?
Oh, that's hard, yet nearly impossible to answer, I think, because it really depends. If I have an animal that's not doing well, or yeah, take some more attention, it's different than when everything just works out. Um, and it's depending on so much context. For example, right now, um, funnily, I live at the rooftop. So in summer it can get kind of warm, but it was okay this summer. But now in winter time, I need to take so much more time watching the staghorn ferns and water them more regularly because um, this
Heating.
dry, hot air from the heater is
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
drying them out so quick. I was shocked. So
Okay, okay.
it's also a different kind of care. But yeah, I don't have animals that require a lot of things. But I also
Mm-hmm.
made a decision that I want to let go of two of my spiders. They aren't really a lot of work, but they also don't fulfill me with joy anymore. And a good friend of mine really likes keeping spiders, is more passionate about this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Also wanted to get these species, so I was like, hey, just take mine.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, so even though that they don't make a lot of work, it's it's like taking off some luggage. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
Mm.
just a small enclosure, not a lot of work, but it's
that's the
in the back of your
minimalism
head.
aspect,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah,
Yeah,
true,
totally
true.
get it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I appreciate that.
So
Definitely.
So I'm also thinking that maybe you're saying that you pay more close attention to your plants at the moment. And I think it can really integrate a bit better with your everyday life because you have the plants in your living space, you
Yeah.
walk past them each time you go on the toilet, so to say. And that's how you can really maybe stay a bit more connected if you pay attention to them. And on the other hand, having the animals in a separate room, you maybe do not even always go to.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes that can even feel more like a necessity that you need
Yeah,
to take
true.
care of. Sometimes, it's
Mm.
water changes and stuff like that that you maybe sometimes don't enjoy so much. And with the plants, maybe you can work more with the automation, for example, with the lighting, obviously, and watering can also be automated, or the mistings, for example, in the greenhouse behind you. I mean, the plants in the
Yes.
top part, they are fully automated, right? You don't need to take care of them, and they are still amazing to look at. So
Yeah.
that's just something that's so cool about plants that you kind of, if you do it right, you don't need to worry about them so much. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And
you have like a completely different size range when you count like individuals compared to keeping animals.
yeah, and I think that can be a role for you in the hobby too. The guy who comes from the reptile hobby and teaches how to uh, diversify the plant care in I don't know, in terrariums. And I would like to see you being out there and telling us how to do it right because I have some demand to
Okay,
learn.
what questions do you have? How
I
can
don't
I help
know
you?
what's the right water to use.
Oh, I'm a
Earlier,
bad example. I
before,
just use tap water most of the time.
okay, so that's something, for example, that you can teach us about. And even if
Yeah,
it means that you have to do some research beforehand, that's totally fine, but it will benefit everybody.
yeah, maybe.
Uh, and yeah, just what plant species are out there that are cool. You can
Yeah.
show so much cool stuff in the camera, and yeah.
And maybe I have to take you as a forward because you're very active on Instagram right now, and I also want to get a little more back into it to give a little more content and insights on what I'm doing because I feel like we're always talking on the podcast and I'm yeah just spamming stories every now and then on Instagram, but people don't really see what I'm doing and building here. So maybe that's something for next year when we talk about that later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes you
for
Uh,
need to
sure.
force yourself.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
Um, then you just said like change of roles on how we view ourselves or how we evolved. And I also talked about like making decisions, like letting go of animals. Do you guys had or how were your feelings about making some big decisions? For example, with Flo, it's very obvious he moved away. He had to decide what happens with his animals. So I don't have to ask you what your biggest change was, but would you give us some insight on that process, how that feels,
Uh-huh.
how yeah,
Yeah. Mm, in the beginning, it was like kind of like weird and hard because I just built like it felt like I just built the enclosure like 3 months ago, like from the feeling. And it's also because I felt like this was the species that I really want to dive into. And now there's like this cut that I need to give them away. In the beginning, it was hard, but then throughout, it was like not that hard because I knew they were like in your hands. And also, it was so much to do. And I was like for a long time really sick as well. And then with moving, and I had like so many different things in my head and like reptiles. Therefore, it was really not that big of a deal. And over time, I also get like used to the idea that it's like not the right species at the moment or not the right time to have something like that. And now it feels like also like some weight took off my shoulders
Yeah.
because now
Responsibility. Yeah.
yeah, responsibility. Also now I have like a more manageable sized enclosure. And at the moment, don't get me wrong, like I really love the greenhouse, but at the moment I wouldn't want to have it here because everything is so new. And at the moment, like I want to just explore and live more for me and do a lot of sports stuff. And I think at the moment, like a smaller enclosure is the perfect match for
I
me.
think that takes less attention of you because maybe it
Yeah,
was a little bit too involving for you.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Maybe it was like because you're not really settled because you know it's not your place. You're on
Yeah.
rent there, and it's completely different when you know you gotta live there forever. You can take so much more time, and so it's always yeah. I feel like now it's I'm pretty happy with how it turned out and what will happen here. And I also feel like that this enclosure that I'm gonna build because I have so much time to think about it. It's gonna be one of the best ones I ever built. Like design-wise, I think it's gonna be the best one because I really wanted like to look super nice and
Mhm.
also to have like a different type of environment showcased,
You
like
mean like
more
the drier
yeah, arid, like
savanna
make
area?
yeah, because I was always turned off, but then I read in the topic and you can also make so much
Mhm.
nice, cool enclosure. And also found I find like nice plants.
And you can really show your skills in the 3D back wall
Oh yeah.
creation.
Yeah,
That's something where you can really go wild. And
yeah,
I
yeah.
just recently I see so many cool inspirational videos of guys just carving into the concrete, and it's just something that you can also really learn, I think, from
Mm,
from watching other people do.
yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
sure.
you can try to build a masterpiece, man.
I
Yeah, and I
really
was
can't wait to
I mean,
see
the
it.
good thing is you can take your
mm,
time. You're not under
Yeah.
pressure. And imagine keeping the annual that will be in your neck
yeah,
all the time, and you will not be so free to, I don't know, carve for a couple of days or even weeks if you want to.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice. But it's more like slowed down. I also today bought some boxes for feeders, and I think I'm gonna set up the feeder boxes in like a week or so to get like
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
already the feeders like running
mm-hmm.
and
Oh,
have
cool, cool.
that under control already. So I'm like super settled, and I'm also really looking
Oh,
forward to the geckos. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think, to be honest, I think that's going to be like a super nice experience to have because they are so cute and personal.
Mm-hmm.
So
what are they called again? Because I got that asked at the Terroristica and I totally forgot. I was like blackout, forgot
the
what was
Risturus
Ristures.
carteri, the scorpion-tailed gecko.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah,
For those who listened episode 24, you know what we are talking about. So Flo made the decision to
yeah.
go into that direction. Did you, after you made this decision this year, did you, how was your feeling after deciding on that? Did you have had some back and forth, like, will I regret this decision, or were you like settled and happy with it since the point you made the decision?
Since I made the final decision, I'm like very happy.
But maybe
Yeah.
But
we need
that
to point out that it took like 3 months.
yeah, well, this is yeah. That I want to say, but before that, it was like a whole mess because in my head I
Yeah.
jumped around every day like three
Man.
times, and I've really figured out that I need to listen to myself and not see what's out there on the internet and what would be cool to show on the internet. Like it's stupid,
Mhm.
but you see like people having amazing species and you also want to I mean these species are also really insane and other reptiles as well but I think you know what I mean with that but
Yeah.
then it was like clear for me like I was like yeah it's like the perfect match
Mm-hmm,
Nice.
mm-hmm.
it feels like but I'm also like I don't know what it is but I'm super happy because I know it's not like this. I don't know why, but it took like a lot of pressure off of me.
Yeah.
And really that I heard like to my inner voice that this is what I want and this is what I get now.
I think
And
it's going
maybe,
to turn out really cool, man.
yeah. And
Yeah,
now you have something to focus on again, to look forward to, and you don't feel like lost. What do I do and stuff. And I also
yeah,
remember at the beginning of the year, um, there was a pretty long phase where you were very unhappy with the plans of the greenhouse.
mm,
And that's also kind of a struggle because it's good that you focus so much on that one project, but that's the other part of having things not in a reptile room. It's always present in your
yeah,
flat. You always
Yeah.
see it. It's always exposed. You don't have other projects you're working on, at least in this hobby. And then you want to have too much perfection, and this can also drive you crazy. So
yeah, yeah. And
maybe, yeah,
it's also like a big enclosure. It's not like that you can say, okay, now I'm taking this weekend and completely remodel it, buy new plans.
yeah,
Like that's not possible. That would like cost like thousands of euros. So
Yeah. And it's
maybe I was
just
like,
the amounts of stuff you need.
yeah, I was like like overdoing it. Kind of, it felt like.
Hmm.
In the end, I really couldn't like enjoy it, but that's also like because I knew that I'm gonna move away. I feel
Hmm.
yeah,
like so.
I think from the point where you decided to move, then there's something that
Yeah,
clicks, because you
yeah,
suddenly understand, okay, this needs to change. Okay, what to do with the animals? What's the best solution for them? Took a while to figure that out. How do we deconstruct the setup? What to do with all the materials? Where to store the stuff? Where to
mm,
store the animals in the meantime? There's so many things you need to take care of that
yeah,
I don't know. I guess from the point of the decision making of terms of moving, it really yeah was not the greatest amusement anymore. So
yeah,
yeah, I really think that a smaller setup will be much more easy to handle, especially if you have a very cool like rock back wall that doesn't rely so much on like plants growing on it.
yeah,
You are pretty much always set to make a beautiful first impression, and maybe you
mm,
can pick like a couple of plant species native to the habitat, three, four, whatever plant species. I'm sure you can find some cool ones, and yeah, take care of those, but not be overwhelmed with like tons of I don't know pests in the greenhouse.
yeah,
Where if you have like the I don't know trips, for example, you don't have a couple of them, but in your dimensions, that's more like
yeah,
millions. And yeah, I don't know.
yeah. I
Maybe
thought
that was
the
just a little bit too much then at the end of the day.
true. And the only thing that was like a bit sad that they laid eggs and they were like in the incubator for 1.5 months, and it would be so cool to have like as the end that you bred them at least one time.
yeah.
That would be like the perfect outcome, but was also cool that they laid. So
Yeah,
yeah, about that. Yeah. What
pretty
about
cool,
you,
man.
Ben? What right till or is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ben.
Yeah, so for me, you want me to tell about my shit?
Yeah, or changes, uh,
Yeah, yeah.
difficult
So
decisions, anything you want to share.
yeah, I mean, this year I was lucky enough to get my hands on a pair of tupaya, the tree shrews. It's these tiny mammals from Southeast Asia, and yeah, I really enjoyed them, to be honest. And once I really had them at my place, I kind of realized that I need to appreciate them more than I do. So that's what made me remodel my setups, kind of. And so for the last weeks or more like 2 months or so, I've been busy like rebuilding my setups, and that's pretty cool because for the moment I'm pretty much done with like the hardscaping, and from now on it's going to be about yeah, giving some life to it. So planting some cool plants in there and everything. That's gonna be a project for the next year, and yeah, so I'm very happy about the tupaya. They really made me see that I need to appreciate my animals even more than I do, and that made me boost my keeping quite a bit. So yeah, that's pretty nice. And yeah, for the meantime, I am confronted with the decision about how to make a living.
Ah, yeah.
And yeah, that's a big topic that kind of yeah was present in my life throughout the year, still is. And yeah, for the moment, the current state is that we're going to start a solar company, which is focusing on a B2B business for, um, I mean, the engineering and the planning of the solar systems, doing it as a service provider for companies, like planning their systems. And we're gonna try to be independent with that. It's my partner Torben and me. And
Ah, I know John.
yeah, right. The guy with
Man.
the weed on the balcony. What?
The big funny
Oh,
little
fuck.
anecdote before you continue.
Yeah.
Ben and I were driving to, I came to Ben's place. We were chilling out, eating some donuts, and then wanted to drive to Flo's place to help him deconstruct everything and move out of his flat.
hmm
And Ben and I were, yeah, sitting on Ben's balcony, and Ben said to me, "Okay, could we do a little quick stop at my friend Torben's house? I want to give him some liquid fertilizer for his wheat plants." I was like, "Okay, yeah, why not?" Then Ben and I sat in the car, and Ben is like, "Okay, I'm calling him now." I'm just chilling there, looking out of the window. He answers his phone, and Ben is like, "Yeah, man, I've got my plant expert from Düsseldorf here. We're coming over now." And I was like, "What the fuck? What the shit is my job now?" And then, yeah, I had to check the plans, but yeah, I everything went well. But this
Yeah,
was a
man.
kind of a nice surprise.
I can tell you. Yeah, so we've been growing kind of some weed on his balcony in an automated setup with some boxes with a water storage below and some pump systems so that you have like a daily watering and you don't need to really take care of them so much. That's the cool thing about plants. If you do that right,
Yeah.
I mean, you can really make your life pretty much easy. So he only needed to refill the water tank like I think 4 times over the summertime in total, and the storage was about 65 liters. And yeah, finally he harvested some big fucking trees from his balcony, and yeah, it was pretty nice. So my idea was kind of in the beginning to start a company around that, kind of because it's the
Mm.
legalization in Germany. And so you're finally allowed to grow up to 3 plants on your per person in your apartment or on the balcony or whatever. And so the idea was to kind of jump on the hype and to, I don't know, supply the people with their balcony setups. And I th still think that it is a cool thing to do, but on the other hand, it's not going to be like the profitable business idea. That's what I learned by making some calculations about it and developing a business plan around it. And yeah, so I'm kind of stepping away from that, but still, I don't know. The whole construction of the wheat setups, it's kind of an interesting topic. And I'm wondering, is it something that is also interesting to you, Till? Even if you wouldn't like grow the plants for your personal consumption, I would say. But is it
Yeah.
something that interests you, or do you much rather give the attention and the space and the money and everything to your exotic plants?
That's a good question. And it's funny that you asked that because I recently started to think about it again. Like yesterday, I started to think about it again. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm struggling because I don't want to consume it, but I'm also curious and would like to do the whole journey, like growing a plant from the seed, growing it bigger, harvesting some to it. yeah, something I need to think about. But yeah, with it being legal, why not give it a try?
I
Um,
mean, you can put one in the bottom of the greenhouse,
I don't
small one.
know. I've heard that
Put a light inside.
some of the plants get a little problem with mold in the product when it's
Okay,
staying too wet. And I'm not sure if the constant misting would would destroy everything of what you want to earn.
maybe you can just try and
Maybe I can just try.
take
Yeah,
us
true.
along day by day. This is day one of growing wheat in my indoor greenhouse.
Day two, I lost my flat. No, just kidding. It's yeah, maybe let's talk about that in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
so
you?
that's
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry.
so that's what we are going to do. We are going to start a solar planning company.
yeah.
And yeah, so it will be a rough ride, and if it doesn't work out, I will get another job again. I mean,
Will you be one of the co-founders or will you be one of his employees?
no, we will actually we will each we two we will each have our own independent
Ah,
business, and we are then working in a partnership, kind of.
okay. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we are equal partners.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what's going to be exciting. A lot of work as well. Yeah, but besides that, uh, building a lot, making progress on my setups kind of now gives me a bit more space to focus on a new project like that because now I feel really more satisfied with my setups than I did before. And now I feel like I can give it a break again,
Yeah.
before again, investing a lot of time and
Rebuilding
effort
everything.
into everything. So for the moment, I will just let it be. It's not a perfect, it's not amazingly grown in, for example. I have a whole lot of bamboo inside that is kind of dried up and it needs a lot of time to recover, I guess. But yeah, so we will see. That's what's going to be exciting next year.
So,
Right.
what about you,
Any?
Tilly?
Ah, I'm not sure. I think said everything. Oh man, I met so much people this year.
Mm.
I
Mm-hmm.
was at the Terraristica this month, and I didn't buy anything. I just got one plant as a present, got my frozen feeders for the snake, got my live feeders for the other animals, and got some like nutrition, gecko nutrition. But it was the best, one of the best Terraristicas because I met so many people. It's even one guy that I knew from a Facebook group from
Okay.
years ago. I knew the name and I knew that he doesn't live far from me. And some years ago, I followed his Instagram and we were texting back and forth. And at the Terraristica, he was suddenly standing next to me and was like, Till? I was like, yes, Max, is that you? And we
Okay.
just had a super nice talk. And he also invited me. He has an outdoor enclosure keeping teus in the summer outside. And he
Nice.
really doesn't live far from me. So he was like, yeah, you have to come over for a coffee, check out the animals in the summer. I was like, yeah, definitely gonna do that. And yeah, all the other little things, all the times I went to German Leaves, Alex took us around, like checking everything. Yeah, uh, being at were we in zoos together this year, or was I just with Stefan? I'm not sure.
Mm, I don't think so, to be honest.
No, right? Ah, this year I think I sh saw Stefan more than you in person. Is that true?
True. Yeah,
Yeah.
True,
probably.
yeah. But we saw each other a lot on the digital way, but we've done that before, but now in a public space. So maybe if it's okay if I switch in that direction. Um, how do you think the podcast has changed your views on the hobby and your experience of herpetoculture because I just looked it up. We uploaded our first episode on the 4th June. So we've been doing this for over half a year. And I think this one will be episode, sorry,
26.
20 27, 26 is already out when this
Ah,
one will
true,
be published. So
true.
do you want to share something about the podcast experience of this year?
Yeah, sure. First of all, like personally, like I just learned to like be like a podcast host. Like you just like getting the hang of that a little bit more,
Yeah,
and also like just having like cool conversations like with people that you maybe only follow on Instagram and really get their opinion because you can't really see behind the account if you never met someone. And it also kind of gave me like a bit of hope because like there are so many people out there that has like a good mindset and really wants the best for the animals.
yeah,
Of course, we are picking the people that we want to interview, but still, it's like an amazing journey. And also that we started as four um, was also very nice. Uh, like to do it together with friends. Now we are just us three in the end, which is also totally fine. But I think it's pretty nice to that we really started a project because oftentimes it's like, oh yeah, we want to do it. Yeah, let's do it. And you don't do it. And this
yeah,
time it was really like, okay, we are fully committed. There were also like ups and downs, but I think we learned a lot about that. And I think you need to be more open when like speaking on my side. I need to be a little bit more open next time to let people or let myself get run into some trouble, and it's normal to have some issues because it's something completely new and you don't know how it's really working. And I had a feeling that like for me, because everything you want to run smoothly and perfect, and sometimes I was like a bit too stressed out and just
yeah,
like, yeah, okay, it's new. We have to get the hang of it, and maybe I did something in a bad way that it could have done better or somebody else. Yeah, just like be more relaxed about it. I mean, we're not depending on this. We are not getting money. It's just we're making it for fun, and I have the feeling that I learned this like in the end that it's like just like us as friends talking, and when it's people listening to it, it's super nice. And if not, it's still super nice because we speak to each other or speak to interesting guests. And at the end of the day, it's always a super nice outcome.
yeah.
Yeah. So I felt it was like a personal growing experience.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for sharing that on here.
Yeah,
Uh,
thanks for the honesty,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really dig that. Yeah, because after all, even if nobody gives a shit about the fucking podcast, I mean, it's still cool to hang around, you
Yeah.
know? And we now have these routines to just check up on each other, and we're just more well connected to each other. And just, I
true.
think it's just worth it just for that even. And also, as we are now just kind of forced to spend more time on certain topics, it just makes you reflect so much more. And
Mm.
to me, it really kind of gave me, or no, made me really think about why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah,
Because we are asking each other, like, also sometimes a bit more the difficult questions. And also, you get to know why other people are doing what they are doing, and then you kind of want to see how you can fit your wishes and hopes for the future in relationship with the hobby and everything. And yeah, it made me really develop more of a vision for my own life, kind of. Because
Yeah.
now I feel like I'm getting more and more to the point where I know what I want to do with the hobby. And yeah, gives me just a good vibe, to be honest, because I know at the end of the day everything's gonna be good. That's what my mama always told me. And yeah, so the podcast has really been a way to get to know myself even better. Yeah, and I kind of feel like I have a little safe space with you here,
Yeah.
even though people from outside are listening. I don't know. I don't feel like it, you know. By now, I
Yeah.
feel like we're just hanging around, and that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
that's
true.
great to hear.
Yeah, and also like sometimes it's like, of course, you want to make bring good content out there, but at the beginning, we like when we talked about it, it was always like, yeah, just record our like FaceTime calls. Like this was the beginning, and in the end, it's like you should find the perfect middle way to get like, of course, good information out there, but also just like do it for yourself,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Be selfish in kind of way, but also not. And I think that's like what I really want to transfer into this year, that we shouldn't be like that crazy hyper focused, because this was I also really learned that you like it's sometimes really important that you bite into a topic real hard, but sometimes it's also good to
Mm.
just go with the flow and do how
Yeah,
you like it, and
let
not like
go.
just because other podcasts are doing it that way, you should also do it that way. If people want to hear us, they're gonna hear us, and if not, it's like
Yeah, yeah.
don't
And I
lay
mean,
everything like on the like not everything is like super important. Like that's I think that's so like
I think we
everything in life.
should, yeah, I think we should just stay committed to doing it in
Yeah.
whatever way. I mean, even if we reduce the amount of uploads even further and just give a one monthly episode, I mean, that's still fine as long as we don't stop it. And so, I mean, it's just going to be interesting, you know? I mean,
Mm.
we are still just getting started. I mean,
Yeah.
we always, and I always remember how we said that even years ago when we did our online calls. Like, you know what? Actually, I feel like we're just getting started, even though we were already like years in the hobby.
Yeah.
But oh man, I feel like now it's finally getting started, and I just feel like that still. So I
Yeah.
feel like it's just getting started, and it's gonna be pretty cool in a couple of years to have like a library to look
Mhm.
back to. And I'm sure
Yeah.
there will be, I don't know, some cool AI tools who can then give us a best of, the project with a little just a little extra work. So yeah, I think that it's just cool that we're doing it. And
Yeah.
yeah, still I have to say that by now I feel like we already did deliver
Yeah.
some cool episodes. And
Yeah.
I'm really proud about the catalog. Now, which ones would you like to point out to?
I'm I don't want to make everything every how
Just
do I
one.
say
Give me
this?
one.
Yeah, I wanted to say because you said like it has value and you're right, we're just getting started. We are super new into this podcast game, but we already had a lot of nice talks, and I'm very happy about one guest who we recorded an episode with, but that's not published yet. Yet that will come out, I think,
Give me a
next week.
spoiler.
I don't know.
No,
I'm pretty happy that we had him on the podcast. He's no one we were like directly connected to, but yeah,
say his name.
Mm, I don't know. I won't say his name, but he's a very experienced guy from a very interesting, yeah, let's say, community or organization. So
Mm-hmm.
I was very happy to speak to him and very happy to be connected to this uh, organization. Yeah.
Does that
So
mean that
that's
the people listening to this right now need to subscribe in
Yeah,
order
maybe
to
you
get
should
notified?
subscribe so you don't miss out on that one. So maybe I'm just being mean and leave a little spoiler
Spoiler.
here. So, but yeah, I really do enjoyed a lot of episodes. I can't say which I like most, but I also love to be at the one hand host and listener because when you guys record an episode that I'm not on, I'm also hyped and I'm like, oh, how did they do that? How was the conversation?
Mm.
So I love to have both
Okay,
roles.
nice.
How
Yeah,
about you?
nice.
Löchen.
If I have a favorite episode,
Ew, of this year.
I think it's so hard because like every episode is super unique and
Yeah.
super nice, and everybody was super cool. We haven't had like a guest who wasn't like super cool. Like
Mhm.
that's pretty cool. But um, uh, it's so hard because I loved all of them. But I really like there's when you guys listen to that, there's also separate s- new episode with a guest that is on the second time, and it's Sam,
Ah,
and I really value him. He had like a lot to do with my uh after the first episode we recorded. I really thought a lot about what he's doing, and also I really like his way of like presenting it, and you can feel that he's really into it and knows how to talk about the science-based husbandry, but also in general, just the conversation with him. Like,
Okay.
yeah. But also with Robin was also super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, like
yeah, true.
great guests, a lot of great guests.
What I really like is how it all connects us more with the hobby and more with the people, like having these deep talks. That's something that's I said a lot is missing out on social media on other platforms. And fun fact with Stan, I this summer or something, I was at the Duisburg Zoo with Stefan Gila, who was also on the podcast, episode 25, and some of her friends who are also veterinarians. And one of the vets was also working at the zoo where Sam used to work. And he was
Uh-huh.
like, yeah, great guy, so nice, so cool. And it's so funny how everyone knows everyone, kind of.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's
It
really cool
is.
how you get in touch with such like also different aspects of the hobby,
Yeah.
right? Because you are then suddenly speaking to somebody who is breeding butterflies, for
Mhm.
example,
Mm,
you know?
yeah, it's also
For
pretty
example,
interesting.
to give a shout out to Bart. And also, for example, I really appreciated the episode that I had with Pachi Aquarium, the aquascaping artist from Austria. And he's also doing paludarium terrariums, for example. Really beautiful planted stuff. And he, as he comes from a different hobby, the aquarium hobby, has also a different view about, for example, the parameters of the water for the plants. He really has an eye on that, and maybe we sometimes don't. Also, the how he thinks about filtration and stuff, and also the plants that he uses for his setups are really sometimes a bit different to the ones we kind of know, because a lot of aquarium plants can also grow, how you say, immerse,
Yeah.
so above the water surface. And that's also another topic that we can really dive into over the future, over the next, I don't know, time. Yeah, to just invite people from a bit more outside of the hobby. For example, there's also now somebody planned who is, yeah, professionally in the zoo world, has a really cool position and project, and so that's also gonna be a whole nother like topic. It's not a private keeper, working with terrariums at home, but on another level. And so it's just really interesting how you get to know about these other kind of niches around the herpetoculture, right?
So, uh,
Yeah, that's true.
all right, guys. Do you have anything more you want to share about this year, or should we move on to like looking ahead to next year? Do you have some anecdotes or highlights you want to point out before we move on?
No, we can move on.
Yeah. All right. So, äh, Werbung. Nein. So, guys, do you have any special plans? Do you have, how is it called in English? In German, we have Neujahrsvorsätze. That's
Ah,
where
okay.
the plans you make for next year. So, like saying,
Hmm.
I want to stop smoking, I want to start sports, something like this. Do you have something for next year?
Hmm. Maybe a
I
daily meditation or something. That can
Oh,
be useful.
crazy.
okay, nice, yeah, that's nice. But I don't kind of hate those things because if you really want to do stuff, you should do it now and not wait for a year to move on. But I think for me, it's like get to know myself even better because like
Okay.
I'm doing that like over the last year and a half, even more to be really aware of how I feel and everything. And also, I want to make like this crazy, beautiful setup. And I think I will try to maybe end of next year somehow get to a triathlon.
That's what I
Oh,
wanted to ask you about, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah. So
Okay, so tell
shout
me
out.
about that. How does it feel to step in the water at freezing temperatures every day?
Yeah, yeah, I'm not doing it at the moment every day. And
Yeah,
also not
okay.
swimming outside because like it's too cold.
Okay. But for a while you did these
Cold
cold
plunges.
plunges, yeah.
Yeah, I'll still go to the sauna and do cold plunges and stuff like that.
Okay.
But but I started to go to like bike I go cycling a lot. I bought this indoor trainer, go cycling there and do a lot of running. And I started to go swimming and shout out to Dylan because like he
Ah,
is as a professional, he's like a swimming coach. And I asked him because I have issues with when I swim, I had like issues with my how do you say it? Uh, I have like a dizziness after swimming,
Okay, okay.
and
Hmm.
I had to deal with that. And he's like gave me some techniques and showed me some videos. But 2 weeks ago, I had like I don't know what, but I had like a dizziness for 1 week, and I think it was because of the water, because I'm super sensitive to like movement and stuff like that. So I'm starting next year again with the water, but it's super nice. At the moment, I'm really really hooked.
nice.
When is it gonna take place, the triathlon? When are
Yeah,
you gonna do it?
I'm
Next
not
year?
sure.
Are you gonna commit to it?
I think I'm going to for 2026 because like a triathlon is
How hard is
depends
it?
it depends on what you are doing. Like
What do you
there's
want
like
to
the
do?
I would like to do a half Ironman.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay.
You can do like the Olympic triathlon distance. I think that's manageable. I
What
think
is it?
I think it's 1 kilometer of swimming. Then
Mm-hmm.
it's like 40 kilometers of bike riding, and then I think 10 kilometers of running.
Okay.
And a half Ironman is like 1.6 kilometers of swimming, 90 kilometers bike ride, and 21-kilometer running.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, if you had to do it tomorrow, how would that go?
Swimming, I'm slow because I haven't swum like in years. Biking, I would do fine.
But you would you make it like for 1 kilometer? I
Yeah,
mean, that's pretty brutal, right?
yeah, I could make it, but not that fast. Biking would be no problem, and running would be. I have issues when I'm running because I have like good like condition, but
Uh-huh.
my muscles and my bones have to adjust to the running.
Uh-huh.
So running could be a bit tricky, but I do two half marathons next year in the beginning, so I will see how this is
It's
going, and
crazy.
then I decide. Yeah, Zurich
Okay.
and Göteborg.
Hey, let's
Man,
go.
it's like
Crazy
exciting,
boy.
man.
Yeah,
Okay,
Nice.
yeah, I really appreciate that, man. Will do you well. Yeah, the sports, it's a thing. I also started to go to the fitness studio for the first time in my life this year.
Hey, first
I
time of your life.
I made a subscription finally, and now for half a year, I'm in the gym, working out the booty. And
Nice.
yeah, so I can really feel that it's doing me well. So far, I've only been playing volleyball, and like it's team sports and also frequent training, obviously, but it's really different to go to the gym because I really feel that I'm really doing it for myself at the end of the day, and sometimes I like to do those courses because it's just
Mhm.
more easy to, I don't know, take a little bit more pain. I feel like
Mhm.
you're able to take a bit more pain if there are people around you also
Yeah.
suffering. And
Motivated, someone screaming at the front. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, kind of. And I always feel like, oh, man, I gotta give it my all because I'm doing it for myself, you know. There's a if I'm cheating, I'm cheating myself.
Yeah.
And it's a bit different if when you're doing the team sports, you know, sometimes you just go for to the training, you know, to be polite to the teammates, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes you just don't give it your all and it's more okay, I feel like. But with the gym, you know, you do it to stay healthy. And yeah, it's kind of cool. But really, it's I never did it before and had so many injuries
Hmm.
through the sports, through my times with the sports. So yeah, I think it's really doing me well.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
go like beyond your limits, like going full crazy, fucking you up completely. It's like,
Yeah, and you really feel that over the time your body adjusts, you know, it's just
yeah.
like that. Yeah. Um, and yeah, it's just good.
Yeah, and then sometimes when I'm like riding the bike indoor
Yeah.
and I do like mountain training or something, like I'm almost puking, like could cry because
Oh,
it burns so
yeah.
much. But then
What the fuck?
it's like it's only it's only like 10 minutes left, and it's like only 10 minutes, right? Like you can chill like for 2 hours on the phone and it's going by this, but to get like through those 10
Mm,
minutes and afterwards
Uh,
you're like done and it's
sounds
so
really fun.
satisfying. Yeah. What's for you, Till? Do you always
Wow.
also love to suffer?
I'm not as masochistic as you are, but yeah, I should do some more sports. That's true. So I tried to get back into doing more sports this year. Spoiler, didn't work out that well. But I got a little bit more into running, but not very regular. My girlfriend is also training for a half marathon, so
Yeah.
sometimes I had to go
Oh
running with
well,
her.
try to do it together.
I see
Yeah,
her on
maybe.
Strava all the time.
Yeah, she's working hard on it, but I'm more like, oh, maybe tomorrow. Uh, so I'm kind of lazy this year, but I got a little more into biking again. So Flo
Yeah, that's cool.
talked talked me into getting a gravel bike last year. So I think I used it this year more than last year, and yeah, try to drive to work more regular with it. Today I
Tell
got.
me,
Hmm?
tell me about what's going on with the bicycle situation in your work. So for just for the people out there to know
Yeah.
how that works here in Germany.
So, what do you mean?
Like I think you have your bike, kind of it is paid for
Yeah,
of your income,
it's
and you're
just
also kind
like
of responsible for the process behind it, right? In your company.
in parts, in parts. So I work at the department for like sustainability, and we also try to motivate the people to be more eco-friendly and use the things that the company is offering to do that. So we offer like bike lease. So you can lease a bike for 3 years, and then, yeah, the company will also support you a little financially, and there are also some tax benefits on that. So it's cheaper than like, yeah, getting an expensive bike and paying it off over 3 years. And it's
Hmm.
also comes with a very good insurance that covers like inspection or the damage you are doing to the bike or
I've
if it
heard
gets
that it is
stolen.
important, the insurance for the bicycle.
Yeah, it's really. Some
What do
people
you
get
think,
their
Flo?
stolen in Copenhagen. Uh,
Rest in
uh,
peace, man.
yeah,
Rest in
so
peace.
yeah, we have like also a big room where you can park your bikes at work at our new office. That's pretty nice. So it's pretty convenient to ride the bike to work, and I'm trying to do that.
Yeah, and
Today I
also with
did.
the prices of these gravel bikes,
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty much crazy how
true,
much you
true.
can spend on a bicycle like that. And I mean, if there's The possibility to get your hands on your own bicycle for a tiny amount, that's
Yeah.
pretty dope.
Mm.
And the bike is my favorite way of moving forward, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least my
More than
favorite.
walking.
Nah, yeah, sometimes if you're like
Yeah,
on straight asphalt, it's pretty nice,
yeah,
but it's the best vehicle, I wanted to say.
yeah,
Yeah, so I want to expand on that, and I
What do you
also
think
want
about
to.
e-bikes?
I think it's a great opportunity for people who either live in difficult terrain or are like not in the best conditions. So it's like a great opportunity to get more movement or get on further distances. And my parents also asked me why I didn't get an e-bike instead of a gravel bike. But for me, as a relatively young person, I want to move myself and don't think that I need the support and don't want to start too early with electrical support.
yeah,
You know
Okay,
what I mean?
nice.
Yeah,
yeah,
so I have the classic stuff like doing more sports, moving more, eating healthier, but these are things I'm working on all the time, but not on the level I want to. So the New Year's
yeah,
resolution is a good way to remind you on what you want to do. And then I have to say I'm inspired a little by you because I also want to work more on my goals on and dedicate my time more on my goals. So maybe I need your help in the future to like find the things I want to do to
Yeah,
focus better and more.
maybe as we said earlier, in you I see kind of a teacher around how to make your plants grow well inside of a tropical terrarium. And all of this kind of bubble, the terrarium plant bubble. I see
Yeah,
as somebody, just being out there like, hey, this type of plant I've probably never heard of before, but it's just cool. And let me just tell
yeah,
you a little bit about it. I don't know. I can see you doing some stuff like that. And I mean it's not gonna be that difficult. It's more like you need to get used to, yeah, just speaking like freely in front of the camera, but all by yourself. And
yeah.
it's just something that you need to force yourself to do, I
True,
think. And
true.
maybe you need to record a couple of episodes and just don't publish them. You can send them to us if you want to.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's a good idea because I also asked myself, because I'm not the big breed, I'm not even a breeder. I'm just having some pets. Don't have a lot of them. I'm not focused. I'm not contributing actively to conservation and stuff. I just have what I have. You know what I mean? And this could also, yeah, I think it helps to have a role. That's
Yeah,
a good point.
just
Yeah,
take us along and say, hey, you know what? This is what I like a lot, and I'm now going to teach you about it, you know?
yeah.
And I'm sure maybe you can just ask ChatGPT for some content you can make and just make it.
I
Sometimes
already,
you need
yeah.
to force yourself, to publish.
Had an idea. I think I only shared it with Flo, but I have like in this for the listeners, I have like the reptile room, and attached to the reptile room is a little bathroom. It's very small. I call it the plant lab. It has my Lepidophyma vivarium. It has a plant terrarium. It has like a working bench, water. How
Think.
is it? Water sink. Thank you. My washing machine and five different sized but rather big um, grow boxes, and I desperately need to clean those grow boxes out and do some cuttings, do some maintenance, sort every plant. And I thought about doing this in a series of reels, like starting
Yes,
like, hey, here you are my five grow boxes. They are getting out of hand. I have no control. I take you along.
yes,
First
and
reel,
then tell
first
us.
box, second reel, second box. And then
Yeah,
I just show everything that's in there, do cuttings, sort everything new, clean the box back into the
I
shelf, you
mean,
know?
you can do so much content just around that, I feel like. You
Yeah,
can tell us about all the species that you have, for example. You can teach us how to make cuttings. You can document the process around the propagation. You can then also speak about fertilizing, for example.
yeah.
And Yeah, I don't know. You can really make a series out of that.
True.
Yeah,
True.
plant box exploration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good
Nice.
idea. Man, I need to go to the toilet.
Yeah, okay.
So have a short break, or do
Yeah,
you?
short toilet break.
Okay,
Cheers.
man. Yeah, or chill. I feel like that can really be something. I don't know. And
Yeah.
at the end of the
True.
day, something that I kind of understand more and more is that at the end of the day, it doesn't really the quality of the video that you publish doesn't really matter, you know. And
Yeah.
some people will watch it. Most people will not watch your
Yeah.
stuff, So it really doesn't matter so much. And
Yeah.
I think it is more about getting comfortable with making content because
Mhm.
it's kind of a skill at the end of the day. You
Yeah.
need to figure out how to film yourself, then you need a tripod maybe. Maybe you can also have some ring lighting or something to have good, yeah, like illumination. And
Yeah.
then you need to find out which apps to use, how to cut the videos, how to export, how to make the music and everything, write the descriptions, upload, it's a whole process around it. And if you just get comfortable with it, I feel like you can then pretty soon really focus again more on actually um, doing the projects,
Yeah.
because it will not
Because you're
take so
doing what
much.
you, yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't take so much attention anymore to run the whole filming and editing because you're just used to it. And maybe that's how you should for the moment just accept to upload shitty videos
Yeah.
because, yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. And just get used to it, and over time it will just get better. And that will also force you kind of to stay connected to the projects because you have this weekly update that you want to give us. So each week you have one
Yeah.
session that you really focus on these plant boxes, and that will also
True.
benefit like the care, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very good. Thank you. Speaking of like plans for next year, Flo, beside your yeah,
Gardening.
new terrarium, what is your plan? Do you have some other cool things planned for the hobby?
I think I would like to get more into recreating natural conditions like airflow, simulating wind, like really with the fogging and stuff like that. I would like to dive more deeper into that. And also now that I have like this arid setup, dive more in like arid species, like plant species. That's
Hmm.
something I had never luck with, like keeping them here. Uh, so I'm pretty excited for that because you learn, you, s- I feel like now at level 0 and now you need to level up.
Mm.
And maybe the goal is definitely to breed them because I haven't like bred any reptiles in a long time. Of course, I knows, but like, yeah, it's such a
Yeah, which
nice,
is a breeding success, man.
yeah, true,
And
true, but
Lepidophyma.
And
true.
what about the
Yeah.
lugubrious geckos, for example?
I never, yeah, true. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
for sure.
I had that. Okay, but like for species that you get and really want to breed, you
Yeah,
know?
okay.
And also, have you seen the baby geckos? Bro,
Man,
they
they
are
are so fine.
they're
Imagine Ryan taking some pics of just
yeah,
man of
Oh,
these fresh babies, man. That's gonna be
yeah.
insane.
And hobby-wise, yeah, I have written down that I don't want to be like so over obsessed with stuff. I
yeah.
just like chill and take it like as it comes and not stress out so much and not like, yeah, not be, just enjoy it more.
Enjoying
Just,
the process. Yeah.
yeah,
Having something you can focus on.
yeah,
Yeah.
and just sit back on the couch and just watch the animals and then close it and appreciate what you already did and not what went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like something I need to learn. That is something that's like oftentimes like it did come to a lot of things, but then I'm always looking at like not always, but oftentimes you look at the bad
Yeah.
things and not at the good thing. That's something I would like to be more aware of. Yeah.
Cool. Very mindful.
Yeah. For you,
Nice, nice. How about
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
Ben?
The thing is with the automation and everything, that's a rabbit hole, man, that can be so fucking valuable at the end of the day. You know, for the moment, I'm working on the smart home system inside of my room, and just really getting getting started with it, I feel like. And for example, for the moment, I'm importing the weather data from the national park Cuc Phong in Vietnam. So I now have the current weather conditions in the same smart home system as also the switches for adjusting the parameters inside of the setups. So it is now possible to build logics around that. Like, okay, it is windy and cloudy in the desert of Oman. So in the setup, dim the light and put on the ventilation on level 3 out of 4, for
mm,
example. And
Okay.
so stuff like that is now really close, and I'm sure we can build the base around that for your setup, Flo. And so then it will be our task for the next I don't know months to build some logics around the weather simulation. And the cool thing is I am now figuring out how to build these smart home systems on a budget kind of, because that's what I'm always into, like recycling old materials and yeah, just finding low cost ways of doing cool stuff. And it is possible to use like an old laptop, and I would say everybody knows at least somebody who has an old laptop that's just laying around, you know, that is just not being used anymore. And you can recycle the motherboard kind of into how do you say executing? No, into running a script for the smart
mm,
home and then connect the plugs onto this motherboard. And that's how you can really make the magic happen kind of everywhere. And it doesn't really cost so much to set it up, especially if you just want to run like 1 or 2 setups with it. If you have a whole collection, of course, you need a whole lot of switches that might get expensive, but yeah, so it's really doable. And I think that is something that really the advancement of technology gives us, you know, these opportunities to just build cool stuff like that. Especially now, also with the upcoming AI and stuff, you can really write some little scripts of code, even if you have no knowledge in computer science or anything. So yeah, it's kind of exciting, and that's for sure going to be something that we will discuss here on the podcast, and that we will also implement in our setups. Yeah, and Till, we also need to make out an appointment, I feel like, about that, you know,
Oh,
yeah, one day, I
yeah,
don't know.
true. I'm not the automation king like you two are.
Yeah, but I
Uh,
mean, if we can just work on it.
yeah, I have an old laptop lying around. Just need to rescue some old photos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
True. Yeah, let's go.
yeah. So that's, I
nice.
think, something that is waiting in the next year, like advancing in automation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice. And building a own business. That's also cool.
yeah, man.
Hey, wild
Hustler,
times.
hustler.
Hustler
We will see.
mentality. Yeah. Nice.
We will see.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice, nice.
Okay,
For
guys.
for
Alrighty.
you for you too. Do you have
Uh,
like any?
sorry.
Do you have like anything for the next year,
Yeah.
herpetoculture wise?
I said that I don't want to like get
What is going on
more.
with the Lepidophyma tuxae, or
Ah,
however they are called?
damn. I'm a fucking idiot is going
Yeah.
on. So we talked about it on episode, I think it was also 25, maybe? It was episode 24, sorry. Yeah, I think. Yeah, there was this guy who was offering 5 Lepidophyma tuxle, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, maybe not. Then I asked him for the origin of the animals. Then I was like, nah, I don't need new animals. Then I regretted it. uh, texted him the week before the Ham show, and they were of course all gone. So no new animals. And when I was in Ham, I was looking at every table for some cool like Lepidophyma subspecies or even like species like Flavimaculatum or Smithy with cool colorations. Because I really, 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 really like these small, stupid, hiding,
Mm-hmm.
not showing crazy, interesting lizards. So maybe that's a rabbit hole I want to fall in next year. Don't want to go crazy with too many animals, but as I told, don't want to go further in this big colubrid direction, still keeping my animals, but improving their care, but not getting more of them. But that, like Lepidophyma subspecies, or maybe some other small cryptic
Yeah,
lizards, could be something that would could come next year at my place. Let's
I think
see. I
they
think,
suit you very well, the
yeah,
Lepidophyma,
thank
because
you.
its slow-moving cryptic behavior really allows for the plants to grow
Yeah,
well, and it's you can really build cool stuff around these
yeah,
animals. And they still, on the other hand, have some significant size to them. They are not just tiny lizards, you
yeah.
know. So
True.
that's really cool. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not like micro geckos or something,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's not a bearded dragon.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I really have fun with the enclosure, and yeah, it's nice. I think you opened Pandora's box with these lizards you introduced me to. Uh, I also love I think the anole setup and the Lepidophiba setup are my two favorite setups here. So that also plays a role in like having fun with the animals. Because even though you can do cool and crazy plant stuff with cool, bigger snakes, it's still something very different. You have to
Hmm, hmm.
consider much more, and you don't have the freedom you have with like small lizards.
Yeah, also
Yeah,
the glass terrariums really allow
yeah,
you to have a like a real water area, and the moisture and everything is just different than
yeah.
your colubrid setups. Yeah.
True. So that will be for sure something where maybe want to invest more time and space in. Yeah, and also like growing the plant collection, growing my platycerium. And I forgot something when we talked about 2024. I wanted to give a little special shout out to our guy Muri on Instagram, Raw Needles, like a tattooer who's also interested in herpetoculture. He's also listening to this, I think, and he got me this platycerium tattoo.
What the fuck,
What the
yo?
fuck? And I also got another tattoo of one of my snakes from him this year. So, yeah, I just wanted to
Sick,
mention
man.
this without making advertisement or something. But he's a great guy, and wanted to give it a little
Yeah.
shout out. Flo
Oh.
also got some tattoos from him.
Yeah, he's the man. I cannot wait. He's
Nice.
maybe coming over next year,
Oh,
Copenhagen.
nice.
Okay.
Because last time he wanted to come, I think in November, but I didn't have money to get a tattoo.
Yeah.
Does he want to
Yeah,
work there, like a studio, or just for a little visit?
I think for maybe a week and work there
Oh, okay,
while
interesting.
visiting here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So
So,
shout out
yeah,
to him.
shout out. That's something I just recognized when I said Platycerium. So, yeah, want to grow the collection, grow the plants, grow them to decent sizes, and yeah, have fun. And don't want to get too much into private or personal stuff, but also my girlfriend is finishing her studies next year and moving back together and my place, and then later the year uh, searching again for a new place to stay for longer. So I think this will be awesome, and I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah.
Damn.
So changes incoming, and we want
Nice.
to do a bigger vacation this year, next year again. So in 2023, we were in Indonesia. This year, no long distance vacation, but next year, maybe Sri Lanka, maybe Panama, maybe Costa Rica, something like this. We're not sure yet. We haven't decided. So maybe also some nice herping trip. next year.
Nice.
Nice,
And
man.
we three still have to go
We
like
should we should go to
find some
Morocco
animal.
together.
Yeah, true.
Mm,
We
I
should.
mean, that's really doable. I feel like a fly like a plane ticket to Morocco that can be, I don't
yeah.
know, under $100 if we're lucky. You know, and
Hey,
just for a couple of days to meet up with Ryan and flip some rocks.
yeah, we should do that.
Also, shout out
Yeah,
to Ryan.
yeah,
Also
true.
important. Check
Oh
Come
out.
man.
to the podcast, man.
Yeah.
Finally.
He's like a ghost when it comes to
He
that.
is. He is.
He's like a goat.
Yeah, man.
All right,
Okay,
guys.
Yeah.
that's something to be excited about. Okay,
Yeah.
do we want to wrap it up for today? I feel like we are.
Yeah. Originally, we also wanted to do a little Q&A. I don't know if
Ah,
you
okay.
still have
Yeah.
time for that.
Yeah,
What?
maybe let's do the few questions and
Okay.
Yeah.
then maybe just like sh going over them short,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's also like wait, I need to look for them. It's also pretty cool that all you guys always interacting with us on the story, even though we're not that active on Instagram, but still. Okay. Um, so I'll just start and you give like quick answers.
Okay.
What are your tips for new reptile keepers?
Science-based husbandry. The
Yeah.
podcast with Sam,
Uh,
right? I feel like
yeah,
that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. Take your time, inform yourself, talk to experienced people.
yeah, and
Yeah.
also write down that's read books. Also episode with Sam. Also as much information as possible, and don't let people in the internet bring you down when you have like a vision. That's
Hey.
also important.
That's
Do
for
like
sure.
like be aware of the health of the animal, but still like let the people just talk and don't give a fuck. Um, yeah. Please do another episode with Finn. Love his rocks and your podcast.
Oh,
First
we're
of
gonna
all,
tell him this.
I
yeah.
think it
First of
was the
all,
Yeah.
most watched episode, the one
yeah,
with Finn, right?
Yeah, I also think so. On Spotify and YouTube. I'm not sure on YouTube, but definitely on
Yeah,
Spotify.
in both platforms.
Yeah.
yeah,
So shout out Finn. Uh,
yeah.
I also already texted him that his one was the most clicked. He's very happy about that. So yeah,
Nice.
maybe he wants to
Yeah.
hop on again.
Hop on. Oh.
Quack.
Uh, okay, try to make a top 10 fun to keep species. Well, it's
No.
very hard because it totally depends on like what you like.
It's not
Should
even
every
possible to answer. Top
No, it's
10,
like
what fun to keep species?
yeah, it's
Depends so
like
much on your conditions, kind of, you know?
I think it's almost an impossible task, right?
Yeah.
Everything can
Whatever
be
you
fun.
enjoy, whatever
Oh,
you feel like is the right thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
if you arrange the right setup, then I think everything can be amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
True.
you just need to do it right.
Okay, next one. How do you know your animals are thriving? Is breeding mandatory to consider healthy conditions? I think it's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Up to
Answer it.
answer.
Should I start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's basically not like breeding is not a mandatory to consider healthy condition because like an animal can breed under the most shitty conditions ever. It's like completely crazy when people think it's breeding is like a healthy condition. Like
Mm-hmm,
in my
mm-hmm.
opinion,
At least it's
it's
not a
hard.
bad sign.
I don't think so because like just like look at like mass-produced animals, like that's not good conditions that are still breeding.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
I get it. On the other hand, if there is breeding, that means that there's at least some requirements fulfilled, which is good,
yeah,
you know? But okay, obviously.
yeah.
Can't go
But
much
you can
further than
also
that.
yeah, you can go yeah, true. But also I think you if you have like a you should know your animal, look at it, and when you are more experienced, you can see really quickly how an animal should look like. that it's like healthy, and if you see it on your personal animal, maybe different behaviors, like behavior change, some doesn't eat food anymore or something like that. I think it really
Yeah.
depends on your animal that you keep and how you
And
look
what
for it.
we took away from the episode with Gila, the vet, maybe do some checkups at your
Mm,
vet every now and then, or get their feces tested just to make sure, because you also go to your doctor to get a checkup. Why wouldn't you do that for your animals?
mm. And also, you go with dogs and cats. It's so weird
Yeah.
that you don't do it like with reptiles.
Yeah. The examination of feces, that's really something to consider. I mean, it's not that expensive, it doesn't really take much effort. You need these little containers where you can store the poop in and then try to grab the most fresh poop that you can find, diversify it a little bit, and then send it off to the lab. Uh, and yeah, I think that that's really something that people should really integrate more. And all of us, we yeah, should really consider that as important. Yeah.
Yeah. Plot was just if you need a cheap stool observation, just shit in one of these things and say it was your bearded dragon.
For 30 bucks. Check if you have worms or
Yeah.
anything.
You get the life hacks you need, guys.
Yeah.
Um, what process does it take to keep an obscure, uncommon, unknown species in good conditions? Also, science-based husbandry,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Right. Yeah,
right?
it's really interesting how
It's
that's the
our
answer.
yeah.
Um, okay. Cohabitation, biotopes, enrichment, how to make it natural looking. Savanna monitor, rare. I think the last two ones are a little bit random.
Okay.
I don't get the
So does
question.
it, do you want me to answer if there is a cohabitation around a savanna monitor possible in any
I
way?
don't know if it's the question, but I think the question is how to make it natural looking.
Uh-huh,
Science-based husbandry.
uh-huh. Kind of, yeah,
Inform
habitat
yourself.
pictures.
Yeah, check the habitat. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the
Yeah, don't.
cohabitation for the savanna monitor, answer that one. Maybe some testudo in a
Uh,
big outdoor enclosure over the summertime. Maybe that can be possible.
That's something I don't want to give advices on.
Nah, probably
yeah,
not,
Not
right?
deep enough into this topic.
yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
okay.
have experience with Savannah monitors, but yeah, go if you want to have like natural looking enclosures, go outside and check if you see something in the forest or s- at a stone wall that you like and try to mimic that
Yeah.
and use natural material. Yeah. Next one, thoughts about an enclosure that mimics a cave ecosystem. Oh, man, I love it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I
Sounds
think
like
it's
a cool project.
that's a super nice idea. You can do so
Reptiles are
much.
there for the cave systems. I know that there are
Rep.
these rat snakes from like Indonesia or
Hmm.
something. Seen them on the channel of DM Exotics.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mm,
also like gecko species,
mm-hmm.
like reticulated pythons as well, are in caves
Okay,
sometimes.
true.
Crazy arthropods.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
arthropods.
Than the ones you
The
found in
whip
Vietnam.
spiders. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, these
The
cave centipedes with
yeah,
these
yeah,
Yeah,
um, giant legs, man. They were insane.
yeah, that's
bats.
cool.
Uh-huh.
Ah, yeah.
Bats, maybe some crazy blind fish or
Some
blind
tarantulas.
amphibian.
Yeah, but really the
Oh yeah.
blind fish, man. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cave systems, that's
Nice.
also like a thing where you really then need to dive into the climate control.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
how to cool it down.
Right.
No
Yeah,
airflow.
interesting. Yeah.
Perfect.
Just shitty water.
Oh man, that
Okay.
were all the questions, I think.
Okay. Nice. So let's wrap it up, friends. It's
Wrap it
been a
up like your Christmas gift.
ooh, yeah.
Okay.
I hope you had a great episode. So, I had the plan so that every one of us gives a little message out to our listeners? Do you guys have any message? Or Flo is very well prepared today. Do you want to
Ah,
start?
a good message. Uh, it's hard. Do not overthink too much. Um, show more love to each other. Always
Uh-huh.
important. And try to work on yourself and not to work on others.
Damn,
Okay.
damn, damn, damn. That's
So that's the big talk.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ben, how about you?
Okay. Yeah, try to do the right thing, whatever that is. Be accepting of other opinions. If everybody tries to do the right thing, at the end of the day, everything's gonna be good.
Nice, nice, nice. Thanks. What should I say? Yeah. Mm, yeah, don't take everything too serious. Take your time for yourself, watch yourself. You're the only one who really has an introspection of what's going on inside your head, so please take care. And yeah, talk to each other, talk to your friends, especially in these crazy times and sometimes dark times. Yeah, watch out for each other and yourself. And yes, have a good start into the year, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah. And
Nice,
thank
nice,
you
nice.
so much for like the support over the year. It's
Uh-huh.
you're always listening and reaching out and just yeah, make it really enjoyable to do the episodes. So thank you a lot.
That's for
Yeah,
sure.
thanks a
Yeah.
lot. You make this possible, and we also have three little questions for you to end this episode. Or has anyone of you something to say before
No.
the
I'm
final
fine.
questions? We want to ask you, dear lovely listeners, how was your year in herpetoculture? What was your personal highlight? And do you have any wishes or feedback for this podcast? Because this was our first year, and we definitely want to continue and go this journey with you guys. So, hope to hear from you. Have a
Hey.
good start. We love you, and see you next year.
Okay. Bye. Ahoo.
Bye.
Bye.
Woo-hoo.
Have a good one.